How many Australian stuntmen survived the man from Hong Kong? This is Stinker Madness.
Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. Stinker Madness. We got the Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome back to Stinker Madness. I am your host Justin with Sam and Jackie as always, and then we have a special guest in Stinker Studio 1. It is Roman.
Thank you.
Roman of many stinkers in history. How many movies do you think you have in your collection there, Roman?
I think I'm up to about 1,600 now.
1,600 movies. Now, are those all on DVD or is that counting VHS? Mixture.
No, DVD.
Disc.
No VHS.
Disc.
Yeah.
Wow, that's astounding. This is surprisingly, I totally thought that this was one of Roman's introductions to the stinker movies, but Roman had never seen The Man from Hong Kong before, or known as Dragonflies in the United States. Sam had never seen it, nor had Jackie. So I think this is the first time we've ever all not seen a movie.
And it did not disappoint.
It was out of control awesome. Totally worth it.
Normally, when a film is this dangerous, I say, or when you see a film dangerous, you're like, I'm surprised no one was killed. I'm surprised everyone wasn't killed.
Is there, any place you can go to find out if anybody died?
I think they would have said that somebody died when I was reading all of the cavalcade of trivia on this film.
There was quite a bit.
And some of those people that were taking punches, it was like, yeah, that guy totally just smashed his face into the wall. Like, that wasn't a blood pact. That guy is seriously injured.
The stunts were out of control. It was very Eastern world exploitation movie, which, because a lot of the Asian movies, not necessarily the Hong Kong movies, but the Filipino movies that usually hold the bar in, that guy died movie. This was pretty, the Australians maybe a little underrated as far as that.
Eat your heart out, the Philippines.
Yeah. We're running out of talent in this country because we're better at it than you. But, you guys knew the actors a little bit better than I did. The Jimmy Wang Yu, is that right?
Yes,
the main actor.
He's got a number of different names that he goes by, but that's what he was billed as in this film. And
he was in Ninja in the Dragon's Den?
Yes, and I think so.
Was he the main guy in Ninja?
I thought he was the ninja that was in the Dragon's Den. I'm not sure about that, though.
Because there was him and then the nerd, or there's the dragon and then the nerd.
Was not him.
Okay, so...
But he was in Blood Dragon that we just watched, and I've seen a number of his other films because he was a mainstay at Shaw Brothers Film before he came over to Golden Harvest. And I've seen a number of his Shaw Brothers films.
Well, his stunts were a la Jackie Chan.
I think that because he was around in Shaw for so long that Jackie Chan may have taken a page from his book.
I think so. I don't think he climbed the building, but I know he was driving the car in stuff that I've never seen an actor drive a car.
If he crashed the hang glider and was driving the car, I don't see why he wasn't doing every one of his own stunts, because those were the most dangerous.
And just for you listeners that are like me that have no idea who this dude is, don't worry. The movie gives you the biggest hint ever. So all these other Chinese people or whatever,
oh boy,
or whatever,
Hong Kong people.
You're almost as racist as the second love interest in this film.
They all, hey dude, shut up. So they all have shorts on and they all look really skinny, maybe a little emancipated. But then...
Emancipated?
They're free from pants! They're free from pants in this movie. But you will know who
Emancipated?
I have a dream where all I do is wear Bermuda shorts, nachos.
Yeah, but don't worry though, because you will know who Jimmy is, because he's the only guy with black pants and a white dress shirt on. Because they all look alike, Sam. And you have to make sure that we know. You're making it sound like that was the whole movie where all the Asian men just wore white shorts. That was a 5-minute scene in this movie.
No, it introduces him. They say, we'll bring in somebody, and then it goes, the man, and then before it even says the man from Hong Kong, it just says, you see, Jimmy Wang Yu, and then his name comes up underneath where he's shooting a gun, and then it says the man from Hong Kong, and there's really nothing left to mystery at that point. You know who's the star of this film.
And if you are a little, they all Asians look alike. You won't be able to miss him.
Oh boy.
Roman?
Well, either way, I've always been sort of like suspect of military or police forces that wear shorts because they remind me of they look like the UPS. Like, are you going to enforce the law or deliver packages?
Maybe that's why they do it, so that they're like,
both.
package, and then you open the door like, just kidding, motherfucker, it's the police!
Did you notice at the beginning, during the, I believe it was police training sequence, that their police were training with swords and shields?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Their riot gear was actually gonna just kill people?
Well, let's just dive right into it, because might as well, because Jackie's wanting to skip right ahead, and so are you, apparently, but...
And the inspector was the total package.
Oh, yeah.
So he was also
He was
the
the total package.
ninja in the Dragon's Den? Couldn't find that out?
Couldn't find out.
Well, the problem is he has 4 different names that
Flying
he goes
Guillotine. That's one that I saw.
by. Yeah.
What's the other guy that was the bad guy at the beginning of the movie?
Sammo Hung?
Yeah, Samuel Hung. What's he from?
Everything.
Oh.
He's big time Golden Harvest, so a little bit post Shaw Brothers. Him and Jackie Chan are sort of the money makers for Raymond Chow for a lot of years.
Well, I'm not going to lie.
And then he goes on to make Martial Law for CBS.
I could have had a little bit more of him.
There could have, and I thought he took some nice falls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you notice he would jump and land hard, but if you watch a lot of his other movies, like even in Enter the Dragon, where he has a very small scene with Bruce Lee, for a larger man, he is extraordinarily acrobatic, and you didn't really get to see any of Sammo Hung's amazing acrobatics. So that was a little disappointing, but everything else sort of eclipsed that, and you didn't mind.
Because he can take a toilet to the face like nobody's business.
He did get toileted.
Chinese water torture.
Well, the movie starts out
Ayers
out
Rock.
hot. It starts out real hot with the least sneaky bad guys and the least sneaky cops I've ever seen. The bad guys are doing one of those briefcase exchanges in a very public area with very descript briefcases. Like, wow, both of those briefcases could be spotted anywhere. They say they're bright blue, and they say Con Air on the side of them. Like,
And it was the only bench in like
and the only
100
bench
miles.
at Ayers Rock. You got to make this exchange at one of the top tourist destinations everywhere and in the world, with everybody with cameras.
Yeah.
But then the cops aren't sneaky either, because they're just like 10 feet away from them with cameras pointed right at them, clickety click click click, not taking pictures of Ayers Rock at all. Just these two guys exchanging.
You don't know. Maybe they were giving those free on flights, and they were like, this is the best fucking idea ever. Since they were giving these away on my promotional flight, we're using the Con Air bags.
On Nick Cage Airlines.
Yeah.
You get
He's
one
going
way.
to steal the Constitution of Emancipation.
Asian emancipation. You get a one-way ticket to Cage. Yeah.
It was more than Bangkok Dangerous.
Oriental City.
Have you seen Bangkok Dangerous, Jackie?
No.
It's really goddamn boring.
Hey,
Not
this
that
movie...
dangerous.
No.
Yeah, this movie was not boring.
Oh no.
Well, the cops get busted.
They get the sting. They put it, and it's
well, they
not
don't
a very...
get the sting. The guys go, "Hey, those are the cops. The jig is up," and they take off.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then Roger Ward has to chase Sammo Hung up Ayers Rock, and then the helicopter chases the car, which, when that starts out, you're really like, well, he can't get away from the helicopter because he's in a car, but you can't really catch the car because you're in a helicopter.
You can always
So,
land on top of the roof.
They're going in hot, though. I mean, he's driving
It's a
all
vehicular
willy-nilly.
standoff.
And you're wondering how the hell that's going to sew itself up.
Well, it does.
It does.
Because the only thing that can happen
happens.
is driver error.
Yeah. Which was odd that it took so long.
The helicopter could go right into Ayers Rock as well.
right.
Shit, there's a giant rock right here.
Seemed like that first corner the car takes, the helicopter wasn't able to make that corner, and kind of made a strange bank and got real close to the ground. So
well, I just
even the helicopter
I don't know how
pilots
this
were-
movie didn't have permits, because at the very beginning I'm thinking, okay, so Ayers Rock, one of the top tourist destinations in the whole world. How do you block off the road that goes to
Well,
it?
see,
We're going to
only
have a
said-
car chase. Everybody, hold on. Don't ask any questions. Going to have a car chase here for just a minute. You got to have a permit. Somebody's going to notice this car chase.
They probably had a permit to shoot at Ayers Rock. They just didn't have a permit to do driving or stunts.
Well, there's a
Yeah,
car
they probably
chase,
rented it
which
out
is
like, yeah, this is
driving
for a...
and stunts.
Just they probably like,
Well,
this
that's
is
what
for
it
a
said. No,
wedding.
they didn't.
And then they paid the $50 to, get the one bench that was over there. That, okay, you get this one bench with your $50 wedding deposit. And then they're like, all right, sweet, shoot the film. We only got this spot for an hour before our wedding deposit runs out.
As long as they were, a good 200 feet away, they thought no one would notice.
That's
The
right.
helicopter and car chase
Exploding
sequence.
as
Yes.
well. Exploding car.
Did you notice that after he drove through the mud puddle from the interior shot of the car, that he totally got that thing sideways?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he and then it shows the next shot he's still going forward, but he lost it completely from the inside of the car.
He's covered in mud.
You couldn't see anything.
I'm sticky. Well, not to take away from the fight scene as well, because from my understanding, Ayers Rock is not steep. The opposite of steep.
It's steep.
What's the opposite of steep?
I don't know.
Shallow? It's not shallow.
A
That doesn't seem right.
gradual grade.
Yeah, it's not a gradual grade. It is steep.
Yeah, Sammo Hung and Roger Ward got real close to the edge of that a couple of times.
Not secured.
Doing stunts.
Good.
It looked good. The whole movie looks good, in my opinion. Like, it was shot well. There was good, high shots from above the action a lot. Like you pointed out, Roman, when they're at Ayers Rock, there's a nice, yeah, and the camera's, it's a medium shot, or it's actually a long shot from, I don't know, 100 feet away, up above them. Looks good. People worked hard making this film.
I also liked the shot from below that was probably a 200 millimeter lens when they're running up the side of the rock. And it was a total wide shot. That was a pretty cool shot too.
Yeah. Well, I like that after they get everything wrapped up, that the car explodes.
Nearly killing the crew.
Oh god, that was
The door.
Door flies right by.
That was unbelievable. How do you fuck that up? I guess there's a lot of things that can go wrong with explosions.
Especially when you just have car chases without permits and you just blow the car up.
Maybe you should stand a little further back.
Probably have to do it on the quick.
Yeah.
Hurry.
We're going to blow this up, and then we're going to have to clean it up and get the hell out of here.
I really wish they had some, behind-the-scenes footage of that happening, because the fun thing is that the door comes flying directly at the camera, but the camera doesn't move. So the cameraman just was like, Jesus, fuck, and just bailed. Just completely bailed.
Or just cowered behind because you figure it's a film
safety.
setup, so I'm gonna get fucked up, but I won't be as bad as if the door just hits me directly. The camera and the tripod will cushion this a little bit. I'll end up in the hospital instead of the cemetery.
So he's been in this situation before, is what you're saying. He has a contingency plan.
Yeah.
Works on Michael Bay films.
He's probably the same guy that was behind the camera in that Invasion USA when the garage door blows into the guy's face. Crazy stunts. Well, the next thing that happens, after they catch Sammo Hung at the top of Ayers Rock after a very long fight scene, which is a reoccurring theme in this movie, very long fight scenes.
But that investigator, just so you ladies know, something for the ladies here, he had a hairy chest, it was golden Australian brown, and it had a great big gold medallion in the middle of it. His shirt was all cut low.
Do you remember Roger Ward in Mad Max? He just sort of doesn't wear a shirt for almost the entire movie. And he's wandering around feeding birds, just kind of flexing and being shirtless. So he's very confident in his appearance.
Indeed he was.
Nothing like being hairy in the 70s. Well, the next thing we're treated to is the best spent $50,000 I've ever heard in my life.
50,000 Australian, which is who knows how much money,
$62.
how much real money that was in 1975.
Sky High by Jigsaw. With a...
Or as they were known in Australia, British Jigsaw, because Australia already had a Jigsaw.
With a flying hang glider, a kite rider. I don't know what the proper Australian term is.
When was the Thomas Crown affair?
I thought it was in the 90s.
No, the first one with Steve McQueen. Because I think that was first, and it was very reminiscent of the sequence where Thomas Crown is just flying around in the plane to music. Had a very Thomas Crown affair feel at the beginning there.
Well, that's a little bit more mainstream than, say, a hang glider flying over Hong Kong for a good 5 minutes.
68.
Yeah, there you go. Which, although in the trivia, they were talking about all these sequences that were borrowed from James Bond films, and I didn't really notice it so much.
I didn't notice anything.
But I noticed that
ideas,
hang glider
maybe.
sequence seemed like it was borrowed from the Thomas Crown affair.
Well, I think
And
the Sky High, the song itself playing while something's happening was James Bond-esque, but not
Well, that's
necessarily.
exactly what happens in the Thomas Crown affairs. There's their hit song, and then there's him flying a plane to the entire hit song.
Well, I like that she flies around for a long time. You don't know if she's a she until she lands. But then she skydives directly into a karate training center.
No, it's a military base. Police base.
Training
Well,
karate.
yes, it's the Hong Kong
Police.
Special Branch
It's the special branch.
karate training
Very
facility.
special.
Actually, I think the special branch was
There's so many
Wang
jokes there.
Hughes Wang.
I think that also, we should really find out before, well, we should have found out before we started this, if there is a Hong Kong Special Branch, if that's what they call it.
I believe Johnny Wad moonlit over there.
Wang Hung Lo.
Oh.
Come on.
That was Wang Nun.
Sorry about that. Let that out.
Yeah, so he gets the kite lady. He's taking her back to the hotel. And then, they're
They're
in
not
the
even
love scene.
he's taking her back to the hotel. They're like, so, who are you? I'm her. Who are you? I'm him. Next scene,
She
boom.
says, "What's the special branch?" And he says, "Let me show you." And then they're having sex.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
basically trying to get her friend Carl's hang glider back.
Back, yeah.
Tramp.
Who, she
So-
gets arrested, and
So-
they confiscate the hang glider.
Kind of.
Which is Carl's.
Which is
Carl.
Carl's.
Unknown Carl.
We find
Until-
out...
Okay, but let me ask
later.
you guys this. Everybody should... What do you think she meant by, "You're full of surprises"?
The face licking? I would say the face licking.
The face licking. He's an
Or,
interesting
I know where you're
kisser.
going, and just don't. Just don't. Please don't. The audience already knows where you're going. Let the joke
Sometimes-
be inferred. No.
Sometimes stereotypes
God damn
can
it,
be
Jackie.
broken.
God damn it. I told you not to, and you did it anyways. I had the jokes. She really blew him sky high. That's what I got.
Oh my god, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Well, you know. So, they
But we
bone.
learn here that he has business in Australia.
And she's
Yes,
Australian.
and she's Australian.
So he'll catch up with her later.
Yeah.
And he does. Ish.
Yeah, but
Not
she
the
won't
same
bone
way.
him again.
No,
Notice
no,
that?
she's busy boning the other dude. Was he the bad guy that she's boning next?
He didn't have a
No.
mustache.
No.
He's just
Ow.
Carl.
Oh, that was Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have a mustache, therefore he wasn't a bad man.
Carl the leg kisser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Backwards Carl, as they like to call him in Hong Kong. Upside down Carl. He's doing it wrong. He's backwards.
A hot Carlton?
I don't know if anybody was doing it right. When it came to the love scenes, I was kind of like, whoa!
This is weird.
Yeah, but all bad guys in this movie, just in case you need another indicator of who's who, they all have mustaches.
Not all of them.
Most of them.
Most of them.
Most of them.
Like, probably 19 out of 20.
If they don't have mustaches, they've got out of control hair.
Yep.
Well, the good guy has
Also had out of
all
control
out of
hair.
control hair.
Well, I don't mean out of control as in like it was weed whacker comb, but like that is quite the mop you're wearing on your head. Combed like the Crosby, Stills and Nash guy. What'd you call him? Siegfried and Seeger?
Siegfried and Seeger, yeah.
Yeah, their hair was, whew, yacht
Everybody's
rockin'.
hair was out of control.
That's what they were doing. They were, after they were going to beat up everybody on their shift, they were going to go get some brewskis and get one of those, like, sail surfboards, you know, and windsurfing, and listen to some Dan Fogelberg and just sail away, man. Little yacht rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that stuff?
Yep.
Yep.
Is Sky High yacht rock?
No.
It was a little too funky for yacht rock.
I don't know what.
I think there was a wah-wah in
I think it
there.
was crap.
There was some great music.
Great music.
Yeah.
High-paced, fast action 70s wah-wah music. Bongos, synthesizers, you name it. It was
Makes
in it.
Judge Judy's soundtrack sound like crap.
As a,
That sounds
sort of,
pretty
as
good.
when he, so, what is, Inspector Fong Sing Lang, then
Can we
flies
just call
to,
him Jimmy?
he flies to, Australia, and as a foreshadowing to his,
Well, he's got an
apparent
extradite.
need for danger, he flies Hong Kong Air instead of Qantas.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Better than
At least it
TWA.
wasn't Malaysian.
Too
Oh,
soon. Boo.
And I got in trouble for stereotyping?
Yeah, you'll always get in trouble for stereotyping.
Oh, but it's so much fun. I've got another one coming too.
No. So he has to extradite
Sammo Hung.
Sammo Hung because he got arrested in Ayers Rock, obviously, back to Hong Kong.
Or at least question him and then extradite him.
Yeah, there wasn't much extradition
So that's what
going
happens
on.
with Yuki's Burn, who shows up and has Captain Caveman hair.
Yeah, because
It's
he's
like-
claiming the no English thing.
I was really interested to see, because I'm mostly familiar with him from being the bad guy in the first Mad Max, that he's totally crazy, and I was like, oh, so he's going to be a good guy in this, and then it's like, wow, his hair is more crazy than when he was a bad guy in Mad Max. That's ridiculous.
Well,
And he's wearing a sheriff's badge on top of a heavily soiled shirt, which is not tucked in, and then he has his police belt on the outside of the shirt, so he looks sort of like a bum that's kind of like half Peter Pan or something like
Medieval hippie chic.
that. Yes.
Especially with the brown tunic he had on later. in the movie.
Yeah.
Changes his shirt.
And at first they were reluctant to let the special inspector do his job.
right.
Because
They
the
put up a
special
fit.
inspector wanted more than just Sammo Hung. He wanted to get the kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
But then it seemed that once they knew that the special inspector meant business, they just kind of let him do his thing.
Or they also, there was the
Show
point
up late.
They didn't
where
know,
Roger
they
Ward
didn't know
said
Hong
something
Kong.
about 2 beers, and then all of a sudden the character played by Yuki's Burn is like, oh, you know what, let's go get those beers.
They totally aborted as soon as they started talking Chinese to each other. They're like, fuck it, let's go get beer. We got nothing on this.
Yeah, we got nothing.
We can't do anything. This is boring.
And it was, we were confused that should this be subtitled? I don't think it should have been subtitled because
so,
you don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they come back, he tells them what
You
was
get a
going
name.
on.
Yeah.
You get the name.
Yeah. Well, I like that on their way to get beers, they just decided to walk into shit and then get beers while playing the worst game of pool that's ever existed.
Snooker?
Well, they were playing 8-ball, but, well, one of them was playing 8-ball.
The other one's playing Jackass.
Yuki's Burn was just
grabbing balls.
He was grabbing balls, using the 9-ball as the 5-ball as a cue ball. He didn't even care. And then before they left, though, he said something about there's no torture,
Jackass. I'll go first.
and you can't give them the thumb screws,
Yeah.
which makes me wonder what the thumb screws is.
Is that like screws underneath your fingernails or something? Getting the screws
Who
put
knows?
to you?
I mean, it's... Oof.
But that's when we get the fight in the cell.
Oh,
yeah.
Sammo Hung and the
Hell in the
inspector.
cell. That was pretty out of control. That's the second of many long out of control fights. Is this the only one that was in an enclosed? No, the last one's in an enclosed area as well.
Didn't the hotel... Well, no, that broke free.
Yeah,
It went everywhere.
that got out of control.
Yeah.
The nice thing was, the inspector, though, he takes a beating.
He sure
He
does.
never just-
He does.
Kicks ass.
He barely has any superpowers.
Yeah.
I think he's stabbed 3 times, sliced about 4, and he gets shot
God.
once.
Yeah. How he survives is beyond me.
It's all just flesh wounds.
In the dojo sequence,
Yes.
when he gets that knife to the sword, it chops into his damn arm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, that's to the bone.
if he was a bad guy, the arm would have been gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would not have fought anymore. But because he's a good guy, he gets to keep going.
Special branch.
I like that...
So how did he get... So he's fighting Sammo Hung, he gets the name, and then immediately after something happens... Oh, the assassin
The
kills
assassination of
Sammo Hung,
Mm-hmm.
and then he chases that guy down and jumps over a car.
Right.
Yeah.
Jumps
then-
over a fence.
This
The guy-
guy is so...
This sequence is actually when
Unbelievable.
you really feel that you're in a special film.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I
Because the
completely
action's
agree.
fast and loose
I think...
and awesome.
Yeah, and the bad guy splits his pants and he's got bright
Okay.
under...
Jumped over me again.
I just had to get it in there
I
before you.
understand. We'll get to the whole thing. So, the very first thing, the guy shoots from a really long ways away, and then Inspector...
And it was
Lang-
a single shot, as you can
Yeah,
see.
single shot.
And he rips off about 4 rounds.
Right. The Inspector Lang then decides that guy's really far away. I can chase him down. So he does. He starts taking off after him, and he does the car roll. He rolls in top of the car.
Jumps over the fence in a single
really
bound, Wonder
think-
Woman style.
I really think that car roll was impromptu. I don't think that those drivers were any people other than people just heading to where they would normally go. Because you look at all their faces and they're like, what? That guy just, what? Huh?
Everything involving cars was so dangerous in this movie.
It was
They-
out of
oh.
control.
And I won't let our listeners sit in angst anymore. It's true. There was no Vegemite sandwich in this movie.
I'm sure they were on the edge of their seats wondering.
Wondering.
Although there were men at work.
That's right.
Word.
True.
One of them got hit by a
Some of
fucking
them
car.
die. Some of them die. So they go on to have the longest cop fight ever. Ever. I have never seen like I said during it, I think the only thing that, and I'm not sure that it is longer, is the fight from They Live. Which
I think if you
I think
count,
it takes about 15 minutes.
if you count the chase to the fight, it was longer.
I think you might be
When
right.
when he starts running to the point that they completely destroy the restaurant, which I wrote down like they are going to destroy all of the vegetables in this kitchen, but then they go on to destroy the rest of the kitchen, and then they make it into the dining area, and the dining area is sectioned off into several areas, and they manage to fucking destroy everything in the restaurant.
But you know what was really cool about this fight scene, though, is when he kicks the guy off the motorcycle.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
during the
like,
chase. Yeah.
kicks that guy right
I
in the
thought
chest.
that was really cool. Obviously, that was not his motorcycle like everybody inferred. That was just a motorcycle. Like, he's getting the motorcycle bailing, and then he gets kicked off the damn
And
thing.
it was also sort of like the old switcheroo, because I was totally expecting a vehicular chase,
Right.
and it was cut very short, because he makes it about 10 feet on that motorcycle.
Doesn't go very far. But then he runs into the restaurant.
And then it just goes crazy.
Which
Absolutely.
is a great fight.
Oh, yeah.
It is seriously great.
Cleavers, meat hooks, knives, pots of boiling water,
Cabbage.
running around the
Fish tanks.
central table.
Yes,
Fish
it-
tanks.
It
It
points,
is
Soy sauce.
They're
Innocent
throwing
bystanders.
yeah, they're throwing things at each other as if they're teenagers.
And a packed house, yeah.
Yeah.
In a packed house.
Plenty of
No,
bystanders.
who
Yeah, but
all
nobody-
refuses to leave.
Except the one gentleman that helps out.
He got his, didn't he?
And promptly gets his ass kicked.
Citizens on patrol.
You
Don't
wonder-
do it.
You wonder why no one helps the inspector. Well, he shows you why.
You're just gonna get in the way. So, he finally ends the fight scene after destroying the whole hotel restaurant
And by
lobby.
he kills the guy
He kills
by
the
smashing a bottle through his face and throwing him into the lobster tank.
fish tank. There's
Yeah, it
fish
was a
on the
fish
ground.
tank,
Either
yeah.
way. The house smells bad.
The place was
The
wrecked.
place is wrecked. Everybody gets a free dinner, or what's left of their dinner.
And
And
this is when he learns of the name Winton?
Wilton?
Yeah, they really did a shit job there with
Well,
the
it
bad guy
isn't a
names.
bad job with the names. It's just that there's so much crap going on that you can't be bothered to keep track of who these people really are because it doesn't so much matter.
Well, it turns out that Wilton is a drug dealer. We get that information, too. So now he's on the hot trail of solving all the drug problems in Sydney.
And a kung fu master.
As the police officers go through a very lengthy double entendre explanation of how this Winton or Winston...
He's up the skirt of
basically
of the,
how Lazy
of the Queen
runs the
Mum.
show.
Was it Wilton?
Yeah, and his secretary,
Was
Winston...
Willard.
Willard, the secretary. The
one
W's,
name you can remember.
The two W's.
The guy that was in the movie for about 45 seconds altogether.
I did think that was
so
a really
wanted to be Alfred Hitchcock.
interesting
Yeah, I thought that too.
cop innuendo sequence where it was like, how many times can they make a sex-related comment about crime?
In the city.
Which, why isn't that done more, actually? Like, that just seems like somebody should have done that. I should have seen that, like, in every Hollywood Chris Tucker movie ever. Or somebody like Chris Tucker. Ice Cube. I don't know. Anyways. So we find out that Wilton's a drug-dealing karate master.
Who is pretty yachty.
Who is also very yachty.
Because
That is
the
true.
first time you see him, he's got white pants on and a blue jacket. It looks like he's ready to go boating.
Well, he's also got his own dojo.
Oh no, the first time you see him, he kicks
martial
the
arts
crap out of
center.
everybody. That's right.
But he cheats. It's like his own students like, alright, you guys fight. I'll watch it for a little bit. I'm pretty bored with that. I'm going to get involved. And I'm going to use an iron rod thing in my hand so that you all die.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. You still owe tuition.
Well, I think he
Go
said
home
that they
crying
had
to your mommy.
the fighting spirit or some nonsense, and they get to be henchmen now. Because they took a good enough beating.
They all have broken faces.
Yeah, like, oh, they got broken faces.
That's why
You can-
everybody has
Go rest up
mustaches.
and you're now
Because they're
a-
scarred
For life,
for
yeah.
life in the face. Gotta grow a mustache now. Cover that up. Well,
And then Inspector Fong Sing Lang sees a pigeon or a dove.
But wait,
that
he's doing
flies-
some sweet Tai Chi or something
Yeah.
before that.
just kind of hiking up the mountain, and he sees a dove that flies away and realizes, oh yeah,
I've been thinking about you, pigeon.
I know somebody who also can fly, who is a lady that has a hang glider,
Who I banged.
who I
in
banged and
Hong
is
Kong.
now banging Carl.
I like to
And
think
then we meet Carl.
I've always thought in life that the pigeon is nature's Hallmark card. Like, pigeon. Takes me to a different
So-
place.
And it was weird because it was
If the
like
pigeon
they were-
is nature's Hallmark card, what is what the pigeon leaves on your car?
The Dear John letter.
Is that nature's parking ticket?
Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you and your Porsche. Yeah.
And speaking of parking, that's when... So she gets off the phone with him, and Carl's like, what's going on? And then we don't see him again for a long
Well,
time.
yeah, she's already banging Carl, and so they set up like a meet and greet, like, oh, hey, you want to get together again? Sure, absolutely, as
And
soon
then
as I get done banging Carl.
And then he meets her, and he slide stops
That was so... I
like
don't see
2 feet
how.
away from... And he slid
A
15
long-
foot? 15?
Maybe 20.
He was going
coming
fast.
in hot, in a handbrake stop, power slide, and it's him driving.
Yeah, he gets out and walks up to the camera so you know that was him.
I also like that she doesn't budge. She's standing right next to the car that's about to get tacoed. That could throw it into her. She could be dead. And she just stands there with a grin on her face like, hey, I'm ready to do some hang gliding. Or walking around or whatever the hell they have planned for the day.
Yeah, but they met up there, and then all of a sudden it cuts to them being at Wilson's house or whatever.
Wilton's.
And he's shooting an apple off somebody's head.
Yeah, be careful of
He's
Wilson
having-
because he's a dangerous man.
Yeah, he has a William Tell party.
And this is where we get the first confrontation.
Which is very heavily borrowed later in Lone Wolf McQuade, which another sequence, and I don't blame him one bit. This thing wasn't getting a lot of distribution over here, so take those scenes. Those are good scenes.
Well, they have some banter, very quick banter, and then it's, oh, you're a karate master as well? Let's have an exhibition for these people. Mind my henchmen that have sharp weapons and are out to kill you now.
Yeah, but they have the shittiest weapons ever.
Don't worry, guests. It's fine. We'll have more cocktails later.
Well,
It's
except
just
one guy
garden
gets thrown
tools.
into the cocktails.
They attacked him with garden tools.
Garden tools. Yes, a pitchfork, a hoe, I think, and another
A rake.
hook, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And then
I think
a
there
rake.
was a garden claw in there.
Yeah, garden claw. That's a good. I think that's a proper vernacular. Yeah. So needless to say, the party gets fucked up, like pretty bad, because the guy takes the pitchfork to the tummy. He's not happy. The next guy, they fuck up, like knock into all the food.
The roasted pigs knocked over.
Right.
The alcohol's
Lobster's done. There's guests.
Dead guy in the pool.
In the pool. Guests are being knocked into the ocean.
They're aiming a crossbow and throwing
What were those
spearheads.
things?
Or
like
whatever.
Oh, he had throwing knives with ribbons on them.
And this is when the beginning love interest steps in between them and tells them to stop as the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Which they both do.
And
You
then
know what they should have done
Carl
is
Boner.
shot that bitch in the head with an arrow and then reloaded
Party
and
over.
continued this fight.
Yeah.
I
then
think
that
that would have been a
leaves-
better party for everybody else if they just killed that woman. Like, wow, that was a really fucked up party.
And was it just me, or could they not get any, like, decent-looking babes in this movie? I mean, the tits weren't bad, but, like, honestly, there were, like, not very pretty chicks.
Jackie has taken over tits and costume analysis for all movies.
Well, I'm sorry, but the reporter lady, the first love interest, when she got off of the hang glider and she took off her helmet, I'm like, oh my god, that woman has a pig nose.
You're like the Joan Rivers of Stinker Madness.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Okay,
Well, either way, it's never.
nobody's agreeing with me. Whatever, screw you guys.
Whatever.
This is a
That
stinker
was the
travel
thing, is
tip.
that, like, who are these people? What are their names? I don't know. Are these women attractive? I'm not really sure. They just keep punching each other in the face and driving cars into shit. I can't even keep track of it.
Well, either way, never go to a mustache party in Sydney.
Yeah.
Because that gets all thrown to shit. But they leave on, like,
Why? The
cordial
rides are only a
terms,
nickel
like,
there.
See you next time, bad guy. You
Yeah.
too, copper.
And then it
my
leads
joke.
to the best line in the movie when she asks him what he's going to do now, and he says, more.
That was so awesome.
More. Oh, and he did. He wasn't lying.
She's not done yet.
Actually, that was pretty... that was pretty spot on, because all the car chases...
What we've already seen,
everything gets amped up.
you'd think would have been enough.
Yeah.
But it's not, because he's going to do more.
More.
The buildings he climbs.
I'm thinking
Bigger.
about 120%
I forgot about
more.
my building climb.
Yes, well, he gets told that Wilton owns a ninja training facility.
He sees both Sammo
the scar, or the
and
tattoos.
the henchmen have dragon tattoos on their forearms. And then while he's doing some super sleuthing, he notices some dojo,
The martial arts
center
of Sydney.
has the same dragons
Mm-hmm.
on the outside
On the
of
front
building.
door, yeah.
And they're not little.
No, they're very big and obvious. Like, bad guys, this is where the bad guys are at.
Bad guy training.
I think the first rule of owning bad guys is, if you're gonna have some
Well, you gotta
tattoo business,
step one.
keep the tattoo secret from where you keep your guys and all of your bad things.
And actually,
Well, who's going to be a henchman and be like, okay, you can tattoo the inside of my butt crack, because then when I'm in a
you go ahead
fight,
and
nobody
tattoo
will
their
see it.
arms, but don't put the tattoo on the front of your building where you're also trying to conduct normal martial arts training center.
This is the brown dragon.
Business.
He's found it. It was tattooed in this guy's butt crack. Now it's on the side of this building, smeared on the side of this building.
It smells.
what's your ninja clan name? We heard the slimy carp. Well, no. So which is it? Like, are they interchangeable? Like, step one, get henchmen. Step two, put them in the top of a tower, or do you get the tower first and then put the henchmen in the tower? Which?
Well, wouldn't step one be to have, like, some sinister plot?
I think some towers come with henchmen.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, it's part of the lease.
Yeah.
Leasing options.
That's nice.
I mean, any good tower should come with henchmen,
At least 10, right?
at least.
At least, huh?
I think you
10
get
per floor.
10 per floor.
Ah.
That's the going rate.
So, sinister plot, tower comes with henchmen, then if you need to round out more henchmen, you do that.
You go down to the local gay bar and get all the guys with mustaches. Because you gotta have mustaches. Where else are you gonna just go into a place and everybody's got a mustache?
What about a country
NFL head
western
coaches.
place?
You can also find NFL head coaches have an alarming rate of mustache.
True. That is a good point. Oh, yes, but they're already getting paid a lot.
And
It's
they're
hard
probably
to
not
pass
going to
up
let
a
you
deal
tattoo
at
their
the top
inside
of
of
the
their
tower
butt
being a
crack.
henchman. Especially when you only work 6 months out of the year.
It's better than working for Bob Kraft. Hey-yo! So...
We get one of the largest fights here after he scales and infiltrates the building.
all the way up to the 10th floor, or we're doing for the 10th
Which
floor.
is totally like
Climbs
a
up the
reverse game of
pole.
death, only it gets more haywire because it ends up on the top of a damn elevator. Because he's got like the sweatsuit on,
Mm-hmm.
and then rather than going up the tower, he's going down
Going
the
down
tower.
Yeah. It's good.
I did like the elevator fight sequence. I thought that was neat looking and cool and still kind of a little bit danger-esque. But,
Any kind of a fight on the top of an elevator while it's going down, pretty fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you could totally get rope burn.
there are all sorts
That's
of
a real
terrible
concern.
things could happen to you. Your arm could get caught in something.
well, let's make a count here. I know he gets stabbed in the tummy. He gets cut across the back.
he
cut
takes
across
one
the
like
chest.
a spear to the leg too.
His spear in the leg.
And that's in the kitchen.
Arm
sequence.
choppins. No, this is in this
in the
sequence
karate
too.
school, he
And-
takes a spear in
Yeah.
the leg.
and then the arm choppins, and then punched in the face a bunch of times.
Doesn't he get... Isn't that the one in the dojo where he gets cut underneath the armpit
Yes.
with one of the swords?
He gets
Yeah.
that as well. He's cut to shit. He's got to be running out of blood. He still has the ability to beat up 12 guys, which they later say is 6. I don't think it was 6 guys. I think it was 12 guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of guys.
It was many guys who they're all dead now too. He doesn't
A
just
couple
beat
of
them
them
up.
kind of got up and wandered off like they didn't want anymore, but the other ones...
They might have just gone to a corner and bled to death
Oh, that's true.
because he at one point had a spear in his hand that he just started stabbing people.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys didn't make
Got
it.
rock.
Yeah. That's when... what did you call those two dudes?
Siegfried and Seeger. The guy that one of them looked like Siegfried from Siegfried and Roy, the other one looked like Bob Seger, kind of.
Yeah.
So he looked like Skunky Baxter from Steely Dan and the Doobie Brothers. He's pretty obscure.
But then we learned
He
those...
escapes.
Yeah.
Escapes.
Those guys
From
are
the
actually kind of
center.
shitty henchmen.
Yeah, I could have gone for something more with
Well,
those guys.
what's
Escapes
weird
from the
is that
center,
the
like-
very first guy that he beats the crap of, who's now bleeding profusely
Comes
out
back.
the head,
Yeah.
comes back for the elevator sequence and tries to
And,
get him on
and
the
he's
elevator.
suddenly able to fight a little bit because the first time you
Well, he
see
goes
him,
hog
he
wild.
just gets beat. Like this guy's no problem. Pacha, pacha, he's down. I'll go fight 12 other guys at once. But then later, when he's on top of the elevator, he's got the what are those things where they're not
there's-
nunchukta, but it's
I don't know what
3
it was.
nunchucks,
With
3
blades
pieces.
on the
Yeah,
ends.
and you spin around. Wah wah. He's pretty good with those.
And he's just pissed. He like, well, you got me by surprise the first time, and I'm
And you
bleeding
ruined my
everywhere.
haircut.
Now
I was
I've got my-
ordering pizza.
Yeah.
Martin. That's why we still had 12 guys up here.
Yeah.
They're waiting for
They
Saw.
pulled the ninja alarm and everybody ran.
You think we stay late every day? Only when there's pizza.
Yeah.
Well, he escapes the building. He didn't get any info at all. He
No.
just goes in there and gets in fights.
He gets in fights, and then he jumps on the side of a
A
van.
van that almost runs him over in real life. That was another dangerous stunt because the van doesn't stop. He just rolls in front of it and then jumps and grabs the side of it, which is one of the more impressive things I saw in the movie.
Yeah, that was cool. And it just happens to be 2 babes.
3 co-eds.
Oh.
He just crawls in there and
pick
he's
the right one.
It says
And an
one of them
exchange
speaks
student from
Mandarin
Singapore.
or Cantonese, and they converse, and then they take him to a ranch. 'Cause-
Because one of the women in the van, her father is a veterinarian. And that's where He gets healed.
I don't know
Well, he
that
also
guy's
heals
name.
himself a little bit because he controls the ability, his breathing and his
That's right.
heart rate.
That was ridiculous.
That's right.
So stupid.
Is that like chi kind of at all?
And then this
Or
is
is that
where
just
it takes
superpowers?
a turn.
That's
for the
when
yellow
Kung Fu
submarine.
takes a holiday.
I've got that he takes a vacation at the Afternoon Delight Ranch. Because it's like,
Monkey
what's
Island.
going on here?
yeah, it's...
I love
Turns
this
into a
scene.
Monkey's music video.
It was
Yeah,
so
it was
romantic.
very monkey-esque.
Romantic montage.
The
I think
song-
he had 5 outfits.
The song playing is called "A Man Is a Man Is a Man." Very strong lyrics.
and I think
Don't
I
know
love
what they
you.
mean.
And then when she's coming out, like, because they're doing the yellow submarine business with the rusty pipe, and she comes out, like, the top, and she can't fit, but, like, she smashes her torso.
She
or,
doesn't
like,
look comfortable.
But, like, it got really small, and her head was, like, looked huge, and I was like, is she a cat? Is she going to be able to fit through anything she can get her head through? And ultimately, she's not able to do it, but she looks really weird and creepy for a
And
minute.
he does this pushing her down and like spinning a crank maneuver.
Yeah, that's how you go
Very
back
odd.
into the rusty pipe.
The rusty pipe.
Very strange romance
She was
between
a
these
Jack in
two.
the Box. It was-
I'm only to assume that they both had their tetanus shots recently.
I would hope so.
I don't know, it would just add to the danger of this movie.
Well, I hope that she had a rabies shot because at the love scene, he proceeds with the face licking again. He's getting all up
And he
in the
doesn't
face
just
licking.
lick, he like rubs his whole face on the other person's mouth.
It's like French kissing stops halfway and just drags the tongue out of the mouth across the face.
and then that face ends up rubbing the mouth like when cats are purring and you're petting and the cat won't, like, the cat starts using your hand to pet itself. He was doing that with people's mouths.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Kiss me like you've never kissed me before.
Yeah.
I only know one way.
In the meantime, Lazenby is looking for him
Mm-hmm.
because he's obviously not in any of the hospitals. And somehow his men get the info that he's been shacking up at this vet's place.
Yeah.
Oh, they
They
found
have
the van's
ID.
license plates.
Yeah.
Traced
So
it
he
back.
sends a hit team out to take care of business.
Right. Which is very convenient because right at that point, Inspector Lang, I gotta look at his name every damn time, just happens to be leaving in one of the worst cars I've ever seen in my life.
The Cummer van.
The Cummer 1500 FC.
Oh!
I looked this up, and just to give you a little information about the Cummer 1500 FC, it was primarily used as the British Post Office's preferred delivery carrier for the 70s.
So it's a car that only goes about 15.
Yeah.
It looked like it shouldn't be going faster than 15.
And it definitely shouldn't be on a bumpy road.
No.
Yeah, but you know,
also shouldn't have
I'm willing to
people in
bet,
it.
though, that in that sequence, sticking the bomb on the car, that was probably the first movie that ever did that.
The magnetic combo lock
was pretty
explosive
awesome.
device?
Yep.
One of the shittiest timers I've ever seen. It was like this timer that you have above your stove. Your grandma had above her stove.
Hey, as long as it hits 0 and makes the shit blow up, who knows?
Well,
you know?
it blows it up.
Oh, yeah.
It blows it up. The van rolls like 6 times. I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed at the start of this chase scene because I wanted to see some wild shit happen with the Cummer 1500, but they just decided, you know what, this is just too dangerous. This thing,
Right.
even for us, this is a death trap. How did they even make this thing? But they just blow up it. It rolls down the hill like 6 times, which was a nice shot
Yeah.
because you get him inside of it as well, getting tossed around. Then it explodes on the ground.
Gal dies.
She's
Yeah.
dead.
You get one of those screaming in pain moments where he's
And
holding her.
she's dead? Or is she? What's going on? Because he, like, he drags her to safety.
I think he was hiding her body so that the guys drove by and just assumed that they were dead. Because the
Well,
van's
because a
exploded.
dead body would make them think that
Not
they
two
weren't
dead.
dead. Too
Maybe,
dead.
yeah, you're probably right. You probably should have just left her in the car.
Well, maybe she's not.
But
I
how many
don't
times
know.
did that van blow up? 2? 3?
I think 3 times.
3 times.
Wait,
Three
if you count
times.
the initial combo lock magnetic explosive device explosion, I think 3 times. I think. Maybe more.
And it was just weird, because it kept blowing up, and I was like, oh, wow, oh my god, okay, it blew up again.
How many gas tanks are
Yeah,
in
and
there?
I was waiting as as he was coming back to seek vengeance, I was waiting for it to blow up one more time.
And walk away from it slowly and not look
Exactly.
back and look totally
Exactly.
badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But
blown to safety.
It didn't happen.
Wailing guitar in the background. Wow, you can do it with the new song by Jigsaw. You can kick some
But he does
ass.
stop a car.
He does flag down a car.
Rips
Did you see
the
what kind of
driver
car
out.
that was?
I didn't. I was
Doesn't
too
even
enamored by the
show his
race.
badge.
The car truck chase.
No, he just throws the guy out of the
Just tosses
car.
it out.
Well, I think we can infer that he doesn't really care about the rules.
I don't think that if you're on visit from Hong Kong that you can commandeer a vehicle for police business. So he just jacks the car.
Yeah.
Well, it goes on to be maybe the most incredible car chase scene I've ever seen in my life.
It's fast and loose.
It is out of control.
It was scary, is what it was.
It was.
I was
rad.
just
like
waiting
somebody's
for somebody
gonna
to die.
I am not so sure nobody did.
But once again, we get a driver error leading to a death or an
Inferred.
incapacitation.
Well, there's a number
With
of
the
things. He also,
bike.
The motorcycle guy.
yeah, the motorcycle guy, which I thought,
goes into the lake, hits a truck. Or no, he turns around and plays chicken with the car.
he's trying to shoot him with the pistol.
Shoot him. Then just drives up. Drives into a truck and goes flying into the lake. And then the truck also tumbles into the lake.
He gets yeah.
Which had another one of those weird moments in it. There's just some guys out on the lake fishing, and they're like, "Oh shit! What the hell?
Is this a movie?
Is this a movie?" Crazy. Well, then he's now just got 2 cars to take out.
And one of them, he runs off the road early on, and it flies through a picture of the billboard of an airplane, which I thought was fun.
And then straight into a ditch, like
And then
really hard
blows
into
the
a ditch.
fuck up.
Yeah.
Explodes. Goes on.
Then the chase gets stalled out because there's some driver on the road and they're honking at him, and
That
he's
was
some
awesome.
big burly dude and he's just giving him the Aussie 2-finger.
Fuck you, buddy.
It must be an up yours, I'm guessing, because he kind of twirled it upwards, like up yours.
Yeah, it's not just we don't just do 1 finger down in Australia. We do 2.
To you, then
Really stretch
Yeah.
it out. I don't know. I'm just inferring like
it's something bad, I'm sure.
we're
But yeah, there's
We're all looking at
There's
Roman
him.
like, you should know, right?
There's
Don't
also-
you do that to people on the road?
I'm gonna start
There's
doing
also
it. Way
a
up
few other-
yours.
they're gonna think you're waving to them.
there's
Hey,
a few other
howdy.
drivers that get in the way that they have to navigate around or stop or whatever, and then it turns into Demolition Derby,
Which
was fun.
was awesome because the parts were flying off of the cars. And I'm not really sure that they were just making it up as they went.
I
There's
don't think that any
we're
of
gonna
that
put
was like. There's this much road.
Yep. Go for
Don't
shit.
kill yourselves and destroy those cars.
Just bash them into each other and get willy-nilly with as comfortable as you are driving, which I think was awesome.
Now, do you think, though, that the last scene that we see the blue stolen car, you know, when it's all on fire and shit going on the freeway,
Fantastic.
do you think they just put that in the movie because like, this fucker is still
Still
running?
running.
I think that
actually
absolutely
is what
great
happened.
because we see that after we get Lazenby telling everybody, lock the building down, nobody gets in, everybody on high alert, and he drops these ridiculous steel doors down over.
Goes into his panic room.
Yeah, he goes into his panic
Which
room.
is very comfortably furnished, and then
It's
has
nice
some,
in there.
sits comfortably and has some scotch.
It's a panic smoking room. Well,
So we get that, and then we see the blue car
Driving
beat to
into
shit,
town.
no hood, driving into town. The inspector's on his way.
Yeah,
but Wilton he does pour a nice glass of scotch, but he does also bring out the Thompson because he's got to have a little bit of preparation in there just in case. You know, this guy is
Yeah, but he sets it
incredibly
down like
tough.
halfway across
Yeah,
the
like,
room.
oh,
Like,
man,
no.
I'll put that over
he's
there.
a sporting man.
Could have a fighting chance. Well,
So Roman didn't hear this yesterday. The director lit himself on fire. I was looking at the stunts. He was listed as one of the heavies. So the guy that is in the car that is burning, the blue car runs into,
Right.
is most likely the director.
I think that's probably
On
the case.
fire.
Now, he did that to convince Lazenby that the stunt was safe. But later, when Lazenby does the stunt, the jacket gets stuck on and he suffers real burns.
Wow.
So those burns that we see on his hand in the movie are
May have
probably
been real.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that. I really liked the director on fire because that's one of the few times that I've seen a guy be on fire, not engulfed, but on fire and not have the protective head goo on, and it looked like a great shot. But it was like, put that man out. He's on fire.
Yeah, he was on fire for too long.
Yeah, put him out.
Yeah, he's got that ugly sweater on. I'm like, yeah, that's burning through.
Yeah, the polyester flame exploder.
He was like, you should have seen me in the 70s before this movie. I used to have just waves of beautiful golden chest hair, and then it all went to shit in a fire.
No, I can't be a henchman.
But here's where we get the payoff with the hang gliding.
Well, he's got to call Caroline.
He calls Caroline and Carl.
Carl's got a pretty sweet boat.
And then they have a friend.
Yeah, what the fuck is that guy doing on the boat?
Unknown person.
Well,
Holding on for dear life.
I am to assume that she was having a good time that afternoon. And they were like,
Rogered again, naturally.
you know, we could come back to this. Do you want to go on a boat ride? He's like, oh, I'll go on a boat ride. And then we can come back and do what we were doing before.
Just getting Carled and Rogered. That was the other guy's name. Roger.
The inspector gets on the glider. They take off in the boat, hoist him high up in the air. Beautiful panoramic shots of
Sydney, yeah.
And the IBM building.
That he almost wipes out into.
Yeah.
It was
and then he decouples himself from the boat and lands on the top of Lazenby's hideout.
Wilton's.
With one guy in a
evil tower.
brown pair of pants is just hanging out up there.
He's having
Waiting.
a smoke break. I think he was having a smoke
That
break.
was the moment of his life. He'd been waiting up on that roof for 3 years. Finally, somebody
Open a
tried to
paraglider.
invade by hang glider, and he screws it up and misses. Doesn't shoot him.
He gets a boot to the face.
Yeah.
Off the ladder. That was pretty awesome.
He was part of the evil tower lease.
He tries to come back later too. I mean, I feel for that guy.
Yeah.
Because he, you know,
That
the
was
one thing, his one moment, and he screws it up, and then he's like, you know what? I can get this back. I'm going to rappel into this karate fight, even though I have no business doing so. And it turns out he had no business doing so.
Gets his boss dead.
Here I come.
to wreck the day.
They have another long drawn out fight. The Thompson blows up the whole
so
whole room.
The inspector
Fang,
rappels
Lang.
down, busts into the room, and then we get the climactic fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Which ends with Fang Lang sticking a grenade into Lazenby's mouth and masking taping it up. It's not duct
As
tape.
long as there's enough tape on there,
Well,
it
you
doesn't
know,
matter what
wasn't a
tape it
whole
is,
lot.
you
You
won't
can
be
just-
able
Do
to
you
get it
really
off.
want to
in
be
time.
that big of a dick and put like duct tape on that poor guy's face? I mean, he had all this like
He's about to
mustache
get
going
Well,
on.
it's gonna get exploded either
Yeah,
way.
it's not gonna.
Yeah,
make
but
any
like
difference.
after that scene,
I
like
think I would
somebody
be
rip
happy.
off the duct tape, and he's like, "Fuck you! Use masking tape."
Not that I want someone to tape a grenade into my mouth.
Not
But-
that you're into that.
Not usually.
If they were gonna do it, I've used enough tape to realize it doesn't really matter as long as you use enough tape. You're not gonna get it off in time. But if they use the duct tape, I would be happy. Like, thank you for not giving me hope of getting this grenade out of my mouth. At least I have that not to worry about for the next 8 seconds before my head blows up.
I'm just gonna jump out the window.
You know,
Look, I've
yeah.
always wanted to do this. Going out the window.
I've got 8 seconds to do whatever I want.
I'm taking
and
my
not try to
pants
get
off
this crap off.
and jumping out the window. Well, so he uses that as
Do you think it's on the way down though that you would shake your wiener as much as you could to give the old ladies a show?
Yep. So he uses the grenade as a method to extract a confession, all of the Inquisition, and gets it. He gets it. This problem solved. Take the grenade out, right? Oh, let's take you to jail, buddy.
It wasn't a simple confession.
Yeah, you
Because he asked a couple of things and it was like, do you want to give him a typewriter, maybe?
Well,
Dear
and the guy
diary.
had burned hands as well, so that's sloppy.
Yeah, the stunt in question happened earlier when Lazenby couldn't get the flaming coat off and burned himself. So, yeah.
I was thinking he was going to burn off his mustache. I was waiting for
Well,
something.
you notice he got his hands behind his back real quick. Get that away from the mustache. Mustache would go up real quick.
Yeah.
And it smells gross in there for a while, too. Smells like burnt hair.
And that's when we get
Icky.
the rooftop guy trying to make his comeback.
Right,
Yeah.
poor rooftop guy distracts Fang Lang, so with giving Lazenby a chance to try to get away, and the pin gets pulled on the grenade. Oops.
And Lazenby doesn't even get a chance to jump out the window with his dong hanging
No,
out because
he
they
just gets
shove his
stuck in
ass
it
in
And
the.
shoves him in the vault.
His mega
Yeah.
exploding safe.
You know, that's
with all of the
probably
dangerous weapons.
kind of an argument for unionized labor. Because at
Should
that
you
point,
have the right
like,
to
you
jump
screw
from a window
up,
with your
and
dong
so
out?
you just go into the main office, into human resources, and you fill out the report. The guy showed up in the hang glider. I shot, I missed, and I'll, I guess, see you tomorrow. And if I do that 3 more times in the next 5-year period, then I won't have a job anymore. But, you know, this doesn't happen a lot.
Well, the guy came with the lease. with
Whereas
the
that
tower.
guy is hourly,
Yeah.
and he just wants to move up. He doesn't want. He's been on that roof for 3 years, and he wants to get off of it, and so he's doing everything he can.
Down from the
He
roof.
was a teamster. He wouldn't have been down that rope.
He's climbing the
That's
henchman ladder downwards. Well, either way, Walton gets exploded sky high.
Wilton,
Walton.
Whatever that guy's
Wilbur?
name was. Mustache Man.
No, Walton.
Lazenby.
Wilton, yeah.
The inspector comes down hot.
Hot, real hot.
It
One last
feels
great
like this-
stunt for the movie.
Yeah,
This whole building, it's got to be like, what, 80 stories high? And he's like,
Real
Lets
hot.
it rip. And then our 2 Australian detectives are laughing.
It's totally okay now.
Everything's good. You did our job for us, Inspector.
You got the confession.
we can go back for more beers.
Yeah,
and,
we can go
and
get some more beers.
I can play pool until the other guy annoys me enough that well, by the time he starts, you know, getting handsy with the balls, I've already had a few. I don't mind.
And then you get the explosion
Yeah.
because
yeah.
Lazenby's head blew up.
Blew up.
In a room in a vault full of cocaine. And now yeah, so he blows up in a vault full of cocaine and TNT. The inspector grabbed a kilo of cocaine and pocketed it.
No, he gave it to the cops.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he?
Yeah,
I
with the
didn't see
confession.
that. I
And
just
the
thought about
confession.
that.
He
Like,
said that's
this is
enough to
heroin.
get him.
oh,
the confession.
that's enough to get him the guy that just blew up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that was prior to him blowing
Like, by
up.
like about half a
Then
second.
he blows up,
Yeah.
and the inspector like backs everybody up, and the Australian cops start laughing, like, "Ah,
Hey,
It's
it's
a
all
done deal.
good.
And the
Other than the
inspector
fact
kind
that
of
this
looks-
building's about to collapse on itself.
yeah." The inspector kind of looks like, "You guys are crazy."
Yeah.
Starts to walk off.
You need to get some serious fire department here.
Why do you think that Yuki's burn hair is so crazy? Is because that it's built on compensated cocaine. It's just he's riding the rails out of his mind, and they just leave the building there on fire.
Yep. Credits roll. Building still on fire.
And we get Sky High one more time.
Sky high one
Right.
more time.
And that's when I realized that a lot of the actors in this movie wore corduroy pants.
Costumes and boobies, folks. Recommends?
So I'm just saying that in the movie there should have been a lot more zut, 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 zut during the run scenes. Zut, 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 zut. When it went really fast. Hi, Zaya! Because you have the corduroy ripped down. Okay, anyway.
Maybe that's why that guy's pants ripped.
'Cause they
That
were,
guy's pants ripped because they were way too damn tight.
yeah, I was like, dude.
Like, next time you plan to shoot somebody and get away, wear a little bit looser pants.
He was showing off his bulge. He was going to his girlfriend's house after that.
Recommends.
That has instantly become one of my favorite martial arts films. So,
Are you
yes.
putting it on your Hall of Fame?
Well, it is one of my favorite martial arts films. I say Hall of Fame for stinkers, but
Fair enough. Ramen?
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It keeps moving. Little slow in the little love sequence.
Mm-hmm.
that was so ridiculous.
So weird.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. It's fun. For sure.
Jackie?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I kind of get burnt out on karate movies. But, like, this one, it was just so damn ridiculous. And then it looked like these people were actually getting hurt, so I was like really interested in it. And I'm with you,
Sure.
that weird love scene thing was like, what the fuck is this? But then, you know, it's not too long, so you're like, all right, back to the action.
And it starts out weird as hell because
He's on a horse.
he's just riding a horse.
Yeah.
Like, you got time for horseback riding?
like, you
Then,
just
like,
woke
4
up.
costumes and some face-smashing sex later. You're like, how long has this fucking guy been out here?
You're 5 pints low on blood.
Do they
Time to
care?
get on a horse.
Does he have, like, somebody keeping tabs on how long he's been gone back at the office in Hong Kong?
You don't get a lot of that repeated action scene.
No.
Fight the henchman here, you fight him again, slight variation. No, there was enough stuff mixed in, a lot of, different locations, different stunts.
And it all looked good.
Yeah, that it kept it really interesting and fun.
Yeah.
Moving along.
I definitely give it a recommend too. So, on that note, let's wrap this up. Roman, we'd like to have our guests give us their best get to the chopper to take us out.
Get to the chopper!
That's pretty good.
Damn.
Pretty good. All right, we'll see you guys next time.